So, a few weeks ago, I was talking to a startup founder who had just spent $10,000 fine tuning a language model. The result? In a few weeks, they realized they were pretty much getting the same output that they could have gotten by just writing better prompts and using a base model. So, how many of us are overcomplicating this? In this video, I want to break down when fine tuning actually makes sense and when you're better off just tweaking the prompt instead of fine tuning and spending all that cost in fine tuning a model. Now, here's the thing, fine tuning feels like the smart technical thing to do, but 9 out of 10 times, prompt engineering gets you 90% of the results for a fraction of the effort and cost. It's a bit like buying a full professional camera setup when your iPhone would have done the job. Prompting is just learning how to ask better questions. You're not retraining the model, you're simply giving it clear instructions on what to do. For example, you want the model to explain some complex concept in a very simple manner. Instead of asking it, explain quantum physics, you can ask it, explain quantum physics like I'm 12 years old. So you've nudged the model or you've guided the model to simplify its response. It's fast. You don't need GPUs. You can do it on ChatGPT. And when it works, it just works fine. Fine tuning is a whole different beast. It's when you take a base model and retrain it on your specific data. It's like teaching it to sound exactly like your CEO or write code in your team's preferred style. And it's a bit complicated. It's powerful, but it's not cheap. You need clean data sets. You need ML expertise. You should have some kind of infrastructure in place. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into it. And most importantly, you need a pretty clear idea of what you want. So let's try to compare these two approaches. So prompting, it's really fast, it's cheap, there is no code required. On the other hand, fine tuning is really slow, it's expensive, and it can get technical. Now, prompting is great for general tasks, but fine tuning is best for repetitive and domain specific work. Prompting is easy to iterate and experiment with, and fine tuning is just harder and it's very difficult to reverse the process once you've done the fine tuning. With prompting, you can work on existing models. On the other hand, fine tuning requires training the weights of the models, and not all models are available for fine tuning and training. So, if you're experimenting or building prototypes, stick to prompts. If you're deploying something very specific and at scale, fine tuning might be the approach that you need to follow. Now, here's an interesting case study. Microsoft once beat Google's fine tuned medical model using only clever prompt engineering on GPT-4. Just prompts, no retraining. So, yeah, don't underestimate the power of prompting, but there are situations where fine tuning is the right call to take. Let's say you're building a chatbot that needs to sound exactly like your brand voice every single time, or you're working with legal or finance documents that have rigid formats, domain specific language, and zero margin for error. Or maybe your prompt is just getting too long. Even with GPT-4, with this really large context window, if you find yourself pasting the same instruction and tone or guidelines again and again, it's probably a signal that you might need to consider fine tuning. Because by pasting it again, you're burning tokens just to simulate a fine tuning behavior. In those cases, actually fine tuning may be cheaper and more efficient and more scalable in the long run. If your task is narrow, high volume and repeatable, like invoice parsing, email tagging, or support ticket classifications, you want consistency, you want speed, you want your model to just know what to do every time. That's when fine tuning shines. In fact, OpenAI showed that a fine tuned GPT 3.5 outperformed GPT 4 on a customer support task because it was trained specifically for that. So, no, fine tuning isn't obsolete, it's just not your starting point. Here's the part most people ignore. The hidden cost of fine tuning isn't just compute, it's the lock in. Once you fine tune a model, it becomes very good at one specific task, but less flexible when your task evolves or your data shifts. And when that happens, you're retraining, revalidating, and restarting. Prompt, by contrast, you just tweak a few words, hit send, and you're back in business. So, what's the takeaway? Start simple, try prompting first, fine tune only when you need to and when prompting hits a ceiling. Remember, you're not trying to win a machine learning trophy, you're trying to solve a real world problem in a fast and the most efficient manner possible. So if this saved you some time, money, or some GPU credits, feel free to like, share, or pass it to someone who's spinning up a fine tuning project and they don't need to do it. Next week, we'll explore RAG, or the Retrieval Augmented Generation, and how it might be smarter than both prompting and fine tuning for certain use cases. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. So, till then, keep learning, keep building, and keep exploring.